welcome. Great to have y'all here. Excited to do some rapid prototyping together. John Rodriguez, so great that you could join us. Thank you for being here. We're all just joining ourselves. I'm Erica Anderson. We've got most of the crew here. And so if this is where you wanted to be, building with integrity, and initially called Design for Good, then you're in the right place. And basically, we're just asking you to wrestle with us as we have, limited capacity, as any early stage startup does, and lots of problems we want to solve. And we'd love your eyes on it. So thank you for being a part of our journey. And so whether you're super familiar with Storytell and with our product or not, we will take you on this journey. And it's very, you could say, a rapid fire, rapid prototyping session. And something just to welcome us all that I'd like us to do is just drop in chat. Most of us are Storytell crew, but where are we joining from? So where in the world are you joining from? And what is a product that you love? So it could be digital, it could be physical. So for instance, I'm in San Mateo in the Bay Area in California at Storytell headquarters, as is Drodio, our CEO. But just asking everyone else to just drop in chat where you're joining from. So we've got the Philippines represented, and also would love to know, what's a product that you love? So just as you can, drop that in chat. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Drodio. Well, actually, first I'm going to tell us what we're going to do, and then I'll turn it over to you. And so this is what we're up to. So we're going to do a quick intro to Storytell. And Jordy to do that and share just a little bit about our current UX. And I will speak to and show, why are we here? Why did we decide to spend our time together this way today? And hopefully that speaks to some of why you joined us. And a quick intro to humane technology. So we've all this context setting to do, but we're going to try to do it as quickly as we can. And FYI, we have a Zoom link that is naming everyone Gilbert Gomez. So if you are the Gilbert Gomez, then wow, thank goodness we found you. And if not, you could change your Zoom name. Or we could just have this could all be Gilbert's. So after all this context setting together, we are going to evaluate Storytell according to a humane design framework. And based on that and some things we already know we want to work on, we will brainstorm where we go, and then we'll go into breakout rooms and prototype together and do some show and tell and retro. And this is all in the next 55 minutes. So speed round. With that, Drodio, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that my co-founder and CEO can share, why does Storytell exist? What is it for?
Okay, all right. Really great to see new faces here. Like Erica mentioned, we are here with much of the Storytell crew, but we're really here to have fresh eyes on our product. And so excited to build with you. And just to give you a little bit of context about what Storytell is, if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Storytell is a collaborative intelligence platform for all of the unstructured data that we deal with every day. Typically inside a company, 80% of the data is unstructured. It doesn't live in a database where it's easy to access and query. And so there's a lot of loss that we suffer by not being able to use all the unstructured data that's kind of coming at us like a fire hose. we've built Storytell to make it so that you can use that data in much more actionable ways. On Storytell.ai, there are a number of use cases here for different types of personas, whether you're an analyst or customer success or a product manager or in marketing or sales, or if you are a manager or in security and compliance, et cetera. So there's a lot of examples here about how you can use Storytell. I'm just going to choose one for customer success and show a little bit about how Storytell works today. And then I'm going to give you a quick demo. So I'm going to do this all in about a minute. You can see here that this is the Storytell dashboard. And in this example, somebody is trying to understand from a file customer usage and renewal sales status report, as well as another file, account assistance and feedback on investment services, as well as all the customer feedback. What is the customer buying behavior? So just imagine you might have a lot of tickets of customer feedback. You've got a couple files. You can't typically ask questions that are relative to all this data and get great answers back. But with Storytell, you can. It's a good example of the power of Storytell. I'm actually going to go to a live demo of our actual dashboard that I want to show you, which is me asking a question about the stars and the universe. And so I've got a question that I said, from all of the stars and planets CSVs, tell me which star our sun is most like based on a PowerPoint about the universe and solar system origin. So this is just a demo here, lots of CSV files here. And you can see that Storytell is giving me its reasoning. So it's telling me how it's going to answer the question. It's giving me the limitations of its ability to answer. It's giving me the actual answer. So apparently star 110 is most like our sun, and it's telling me why. And then it's saying, hey, you might also want to consider these things. So this is an example of the type of value that you can get using Storytell with a lot of unstructured data. So Eric, I'm going to stop there unless there's anything else you'd like me to share. Hopefully that gives some context.
Yeah, no, that's great. And if there's any questions, please just share in chat. And like I said, we will be moving into breakout rooms in like the next 10 minutes. So there'll be more chance to use your voice in a smaller group as well. Okay, I'm about to share my screen again, and I just want to make sure that you can also hear my audio. So, okay, are you seeing the slide deck or is it not sharing? No. Okay,
No.
let me try again. And okay.
While Eric is doing that, if you want to rename yourself, there's 3 dots in your avatar that you can click in the top right of your video, and there should be a rename option.
Yes. Okay. So let me know if you can't hear this. So why are we here? We're here because of users like Cheryl. So she was one of our first power users. She's a technical writer, and I'll let her tell you her story.
I was a cautious, almost antagonist towards AI. But when I started using Storytell at Stellit, the company I worked for, I became an AI enthusiast because I loved Storytell. I didn't even know why I loved it. And it wasn't so much, a stack of features or even that I could do X, Y, and Z with it. But overall, the way in which it was constructed got me very enthusiastic, involved, and almost like one of those stalker fans that follow rock stars. I really got into it, and it is a combination of both features and the presentation layer of Storytell, which made it very easy to work with and fun. So that's in essence what I shared with Erica. The other piece was I was still a little skeptical about it, but I checked out Erica's LinkedIn profile and ran across this Humane AI.
Whoops. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah, so that's what sealed the deal.
I was
keep moving here.
much I was.
So here's the other reason that we asked you to be here. So we want more magical experiences like the one that Cheryl had. Um, but it's around our value of defaulting to transparency. And so we build in public as much as we can. And and that doesn't mean everything is public, but that's our starting point. And here is the reality, right? So we're very passionate about humane technology. And then there's just the business realities of our users and what they need to get done as easily, as simply as possible. And, the experience that we want to provide them. So, we renamed this workshop because it's not like, oh, hey, we've solved it. We have figured it out. We know exactly what humane tech is about. It's completely everywhere in our product. Like, hey, no, we have, an engineering team that's incredible and it's 4 people deep. And so we just always have, limited capacity. And so we're doing what we can, and we want to bring you into that process. Can y'all still see me, by the way? I optimize for video sharing. So I Okay. Let me know if you can't see me. How about that? So this is also something that we take into account is every meeting we have where we're bringing everyone together in particular, which we don't do very often. We have engineering demos once a week, and we've got this workshop. So there's 13 people on our crew. So this is about how much time this is costing us. I'm sure it's costing each of you who are joining us as well. But then we really want to 10x that amount, if not more. So this is how we think about how we spend time. Um, so what is humane technology? It's usually easier to start with what isn't it? And this is some of what it isn't. This article is back from 2016, right? So fubbing, I haven't really heard anyone use that word. But for instance, yeah, so infinite scroll or soap dispensers that only work on light skin, right? It's not inclusive. Um, Games or social media that are designed to just addict us to the platform as opposed to letting us make choices about how we want to spend time and um and cars that are redesigned so that there's no knobs for us to physically use. So for instance, Volkswagen has decided, oh wait, you're not just going to have a touch screen. Um, and bots that groom kids, right? So there's not any standardized guardrails for companion bots, and that has really disastrous outcomes, such as in this case. Whereas what is humane technology? Okay, so it's not any of those things. And I think as you look around or consider your relationship with technology, it becomes pretty clear. But getting health insights, right, that are not intrusive, they're helpful, accessibility options. You can batch your reminders if you have iOS. Um, Hands-free assistance, so like what's helping you be a safer driver, accurate speech to text. Again, like what are these things that enhance our capabilities? Or just making us aware of screen time. Maybe it's without guilt, maybe it's not. Um, we are going to be looking at our UX UI together. And I just want to acknowledge that in terms of changing how we do things, design changes. So if you think of status quo, how things are typically done, and we're looking at big tech here, design changes, you have to push really hard on this fulcrum. This is based on Donella Meadows' systems thinking work in order to change. Whereas culture and paradigm, you don't have to push that much, right? But it takes many, many steps to get here. So with that, we are going to use this framework together. So actually, I'm going to stop sharing and reshare just so I can see y'all. And that did anyway. And we're gonna go into this fig jam together. So I'll drop a link to this in chat. You shouldn't need to log in because it's set up for a jam. So we're actually going to jump from from this to a different app, but this is where we begin. So right here, and this is a concepting tool for humane design. So we're asking you to take these stickers. So you each have 6 stickers, one for each of these, and drop them, doing your best to evaluate Storytell. So it might be brand new for you. And that's great. We really welcome new faces, new voices, fresh perspective. And, how would you rate Storytell according to each of these? And I'm going to see if we can do this in 3 minutes. And if you have any thoughts or questions, you can drop them in chat. I think someone is maybe moving.
Yeah, I was bringing it back because it moved. But I
Okay.
locked it.
Okay. Okay, we've got less than a minute left. I think we're gonna manage. And I'll just share what I am seeing so far. Um, right? Who would willingly admit exploitative product design? Yeah, for sure. I think it's really interesting to look at default to transparency and who builds in public and what is public. Um, and I wouldn't say that we're saying Storytell is all the way to the right with each of these. But I, okay, we're in the final moments here. And I would say what I'm seeing is supporting around decision making, attention. It's kind of in the middle, a bit of a wash. I Social reasoning and group dynamics is in the middle towards the right. And yeah, whereas we're in the middle or to the right with emotional, physical, or sense making. It's interesting to think about this with any generative AI product. What is it helping you do? What is it not helping you do? So using that as the start, moving into a brief, make this 2 minutes. How might we? So what could be different about Storytell? Could be based on that humane design framework, or not. But I've pre-populated it with some things that I know we want to look at and work on and would love your thoughts around. So welcoming you to grab sticky notes and add your own how might we's. So we have a minute and a half to do that. If there's any other how might we's.
Erica, one observation about the exercise that we just did, I'm noticing that the box that has the most, I guess, negative or like constructive is the attention box, right? That's the one that scored the lowest. And so on the how might we's, I'd love to know from anybody ways that we could honor humans' attention more effectively in our platform, or just with AI in general, if you're not as familiar with our platform, because that looks like the one that we could work on the most from that.
Yeah, that's a great call out. So we have making it easy. So people who are new to AI, feedback, better ways to provide feedback. How do we help people be in a flow state? How do we help folks prompt, prompting? And we have ways that we're doing this, but it could always be better. And another thought around quickly feeling comfortable, thrive at work and at home. How can we help folks organize information? Okay, so I'll just give some final seconds here. Because then, here, how about this? We'll see if we need a whole minute. So hopefully not. We're doing some priority-based living together right now. Yeah, so these are all how might we's. Yeah, exactly. HWE, how might we? Just being in this wondering, where could we go from here? Okay, and now finishing up with this. So in 20 seconds, we are going to each take one let's ship it heart and vote on what you'd like us to focus on. And then we'll announce what the breakout rooms are going to focus on. Okay. So, yep, go use your one heart, and I'll give a minute for voting. Let's see. Okay. And we're down to the final bits. And don't worry, Aaron is going to feedback on his new flow. So Aaron has a whole new onboarding flow and more to show. So that's what's going to happen when we move to breakout rooms in Aaron's breakout room. So the next top vote. So how might we help people who are new to AI or new to Storytell quickly feel comfortable and unlock the potential of AI to help them thrive at work and at home? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then Keith, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Keith, how might we help people come up with well-formed requests? Not just useful analyses, clarify what the request actually is, helping them to sharpen up their ask. So really improving on prompting. And then how might we build trust in responses we get from AI? Great. So, Erin, you have your focus for your room. And I, let's see, Drodio, Andy, and I. Is there one of these that you want to take, or should I just assign it for your room?
Andy, do you have a preference? I'm happy to take
I'll
it.
take the well-formed request one.
Okay. Well-formed requests. I could take trust. Drodio, do you want to take new to AI?
Sure.
Okay, great. So we're going to move into breakout rooms and come back basically in 20 minutes, but to really explore these questions, and we're going to explore them in Excalidraw. So I'll just share that link. So that should also be totally open without needing to sign in any way. Okay, so Margot is going to open up rooms so that we can work on each of these. Hello again. And if there's anything else y'all want to add to your prototypes while we're waiting for everyone to join, please do. Okay. And is that Jing Yang?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think our discussion hasn't finished yet, and I clicked the join return.
I know it was quick and dirty. So appreciate you being on this little roller coaster ride with us, and everyone will be joining us momentarily. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. So we're going to move right into show and tell. Drodio, could you kick us off by just showing us what y'all came up with? And if there's anything y'all want to add to your prototypes, just do that as we go while multitasking and paying attention to what the other teams built.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here, and I first just want to say thank you to Jack, Jing Ying, for your perspectives. It turns out that you're actually both Power AI users. So the card was for new AI users, but we ended up really focusing on Power users. And so we changed it a bit. And I'm just gonna share, it's amazing to learn from users or people who aren't steeped in the platform. We talked a little bit about the problem, and Jing Ying, you were saying that you really wish that AI had a better long-term memory. And Jack, you were literally giving hearts when Jingying was saying that. And so we dove into that. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here, but I'm just going to mention there's a thing that Storytell does, which is called creating story tiles. When people upload assets, we rip those assets apart into their little chunks, and we reassemble those chunks in a concept first view. And we've never thought about doing that for chat history. But what we talked about was, what if we made story tiles from people's past chat history, a concept view of past chats to inject into LLM context windows? And that could help provide more long-term memory to the AI. We can use this technology we've already built called story tiles, and then reimagine that from people's chats to give the LLM more memory. So maybe I'll stop there. It was just a phenomenal, like, oh my God, we've already built this technology. We could use it in a whole new way. So thank you both for that. I don't know if there's anything else from our team that you want to say, but yep. Okay.
I think if there's anything else, just drop it in chat. And just in interest of respecting everyone's time, that's all. Andy, what did y'all come up with?
Well, we had a bit less time than I thought we would, but we did do some good brainstorming, not a lot of prototyping. I think the key takeaways that I liked from our discussion was the issues we're trying to solve around nudging people into their request. And I think the main brainstorm thing was that someone comes into the platform and they have a job to be done, something they want to get done. So one thing that would make the experience better would be to actually get more insight into what that thing they want to do is, because right now they kind of get dropped into this dashboard with all their stuff, their files, maybe from an organization, maybe someone invited them to an existing collection. So it's important to know why the user is there. And based on that, you can guide them on like what kind of data do they have access to wherever they are in the platform, and what kinds of questions they can ask of the data. And please add Keith or Shahab if you have anything else that I missed. But that's the key takeaway. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you so much. This is fun. I'm like, well, how can we do this more often? Aaron, could you share?
I can share. Let me actually share my screen here. We went on a brief tour of some new things that we're working on here at Storytell, such as the ability to manage your comfort and experience level with AI and the Storytell platform, to specify which models you want the Storytell model router to take you to, such as maybe you don't want requests to go to DeepSeek for various reasons. You could instruct our model router never to take your requests to DeepSeek, and that can be managed at an individual or organization level. Or perhaps you want to provide instructions that are always taken to the model for any prompt that you write. Or I'm just going to load up a template here for engineer. Whenever I'm doing a programming task, which is determined by our model router, that I always want these instructions to accompany the prompt so that I don't have to type it in every activity that I'm doing. And so this is one small step forward into kind of a longer term memory of how you want the platform to work based on the type of work you're doing.
Thank you. And did you get some helpful feedback?
I did get some helpful feedback. Thank you.
Okay.
Aaron, one thing that I would just mention there, Aaron and I literally this morning, right before this, did a 20-minute walkthrough of this new platform, and I just posted it. I just put a link. So if you want a 20-minute deep dive, we would love to hear more from you, and that's a great place to start. And I'll put my email in as well if you have comments about what's coming.
Oh yeah. On that note, Margot, could you grab our early access link in case anyone wants to be in other building sessions with us? We welcome your voice. So I'll just jump into what we did. Let's see. And full stack engineer. I see that you raised your hand.
It's not important. I don't want to interrupt you. Please continue.
Okay. Okay. So this is around building trust. So we all want inline citations, which is actually what the first version of our platform had. So we're going to go back to that. Something Samantha shared is like, hey, AI can be so sycophantic, it's just so affirming. And that doesn't help me build trust, actually. So how can we manage that? Understanding what sources are trustworthy. And John brought something really helpful about like, hey, how can we communicate in a way with users that's less jargony and more conversational here? And again, just like, what is the data set? I thought this was really nice of like, oh, where are all the citations and the reasoning? Like, how can I just go deeper into this? Anchored text leading to resources. And yeah. And then this was something that came out of a different humane tech experience where we're like, what if it's like, let's step into science fiction. Like, how can you do this on the, black box of Gen AI? But what if we could like, hey, this is about how much you should trust this, or how can you quickly check the sources so that you can verify what you're looking at? So those were some ideas. We'd love to just get a liked, learned, longed for anyone who is still with us. And like, what's something you liked about this time? What's something you learned? Or what's something you longed for? I think more time to prototype would be one of those on my end. And then if you're interested, there's many paths forward. So one is if you're in the Bay, coming to a Humane Tech meetup, or doing a training, we could do something on your product or at your company. Join the Humane Tech Slack community. And then also we should have by now, yep, Margot, thank you for dropping that in. Yeah, if you'd like to help us build our product, bring your thoughts and expertise, like we absolutely want to hear it. We really, really value your perspective. So we're ending on time. But any final comments, anything you want to share over video, voice?